Hey guys, Jordan with the Young Turks and TYT Politics. Hope everyone is having a good Monday. It is the first official day of President Trump's administration, and already he's doing some not great things. I just reported on the Young Turks YouTube page about something related to Obamacare, so check that out. But I wanted to give you breaking news. I was watching Sean Spicer's press conference. Sean Spicer is the new White House press secretary. He used to be the RNC communications chairman. And he was asked at the press conference by a reporter about whether President Trump will be approving the Dakota Access pipeline as well as the Keystone pipeline, which President Obama, of course, had denied permits for years ago. And as far as Dakota Access pipeline, as we know, the Army Corps of Engineers denied the final permits for Dakota Access in December. So Sean Spicer, in response to whether President Trump will approve the Dakota Access pipeline, here's the full quote. Quote, "I am not going to get in front of the president's executive actions, but I will tell you that the areas like Dakota and the Keystone pipeline, areas that we could increase jobs, increase economic growth, and tap into America's energy supply more, that's something that he's been very clear about." He, talking about Trump. He went on to say, quote, "That's one of those ones where I think where the energy sector and our natural resources are an area where I think the president is very, very keen on making sure we maximize our use of natural resources to America's benefit. It's good for economic growth, it's good for jobs, and it's good for American energy." End of quote. So a few things there. My colleague Sean King, who's now with the Young Turks, had tweeted out that Spicer had officially announced basically that Trump is going to approve the Dakota Access pipeline. I love Sean, nothing personal, but this is not an official announcement that Trump is approving the Dakota Access pipeline. So I want to make sure we know what it is and what it's not. This is pretty much, to me, a foreshadowing, them hinting that he will approve the Dakota Access pipeline, but it's not an official, Trump rescinding the environmental impact study that was recently ordered by the Obama administration, and it's not him granting, or the Army Corps, shall we say, granting the final permit to drill under the Missouri River and Lake Oahe. However, this is pretty close to that. So there's a few things here. Number one, if you didn't know, when President Obama denied the final permit for drilling under Lake Oahe and in the Missouri River, it also came with that there had to be an environmental impact study done on the environmental effects of the Dakota Access pipeline, which was never done, and it's by law it has to be done. So in the last few days of the Obama administration, before Trump became president, that process was put in motion. The environmental impact study was granted, and that process could take anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. So the environmental impact study, which is, again, a thorough environmental impact study, that's what it is, to see what the pipeline's effect on the environment would be, that is underway. President Trump can rescind that environmental impact study if he wanted to. Technically, it would be the Army Corps, but it would be President Trump doing it, pulling the Army Corps' hands. Also, when the media has reported that President Trump has sold his shares on the pipeline, that's not true. Now, President Trump has not shown his taxes or his stocks, his stock portfolio, so who the hell knows? But the media reported, based on what Trump said, that Trump sold his shares in Energy Transfer Partners, which is the parent company of the Dakota Access pipeline, last year. He might have sold his shares in Energy Transfer Partners. However, he's also invested in a company called Phillips 66. Phillips 66 owns 25% of the Dakota Access pipeline. Trump still invested in Phillips 66. So to say Trump doesn't have a direct investment in the parent companies of the Dakota Access pipeline is just not true. He does. So, like his other conflicts of interest, this is a big conflict of interest. But I want to also get to you got to read in between the lines. Trump appointed, he's not been confirmed yet, but Trump has nominated Rick Perry, the former Texas governor, as his energy secretary. The genius who could not remember the energy department, even though he said he wants to eliminate the energy department, but couldn't remember that the energy, he couldn't, I want to eliminate 3 branches of government, but can't remember the 3rd. Okay. Well, he just had his hearings. Well, 2 weeks after Rick Perry ended his governorship, ended being governor in Texas, he was appointed to the board of Energy Transfer Partners, the parent company of the Dakota Access pipeline. So the fact is, Trump appointing this man as energy secretary, to me, was a pretty good telltale sign that he is for the Dakota Access pipeline, has no problem, and will not hesitate to grant permits for drilling under Lake Oahe and Missouri River, which obviously has been the main source of contention in this whole battle. This water body serves 18 to 20 million people downstream. As we have seen in the Standing Rock battle, Minnewachuny, water is life. This is people's water source. So Trump appointing Rick Perry is not a good sign for Trump, following the orders of President Obama and not granting this final permit. But I want to read this statement again from Trump's press secretary that I view as a good hint, a very strong hint that they will reverse President Obama's decision to deny the final permit. Really, factually, it's the Army Corps of Engineers' decision to deny the final permit. But I want to read this one more time and go line by line to tell you how they're lying, because they're lying. So, again, at a press conference today, Sean Spicer, the press secretary for President Trump, said, in response to whether President Trump will approve the Dakota Access pipeline as well as resuscitate the Keystone pipeline. I am not going to get in front of the president's executive actions, but I will tell you that areas like Dakota and the Keystone pipeline, areas that we could increase jobs, that's not true. Pipelines like this do not increase jobs. They might increase jobs during the construction of the pipeline, but those are not long-term permanent jobs. Those are just jobs during the construction. That's not jobs for, people who need permanent work. So this talking point by Republicans and the the big oil companies that this is going to create hundreds of thousands of jobs are created by pipelines is bullshit. This is a lie. It is temporary jobs during the construction of the pipeline. Now, so he said areas that we could increase jobs, increase economic growth. That is also not true. The Intercept and other outlets have done great reporting on this. The majority of the oil that will be distributed by the Dakota Access pipeline is for foreign exports. Let me repeat that: foreign exports. This is oil that's going across the globe to areas like China and Russia and other markets. This is not for domestic use. You're right, Susie. We have alternative facts, as they've said. So when they say, when Sean Spicer, speaking for Trump, says this is going to create more increase in jobs, increase in economic growth, and tap into America's energy supply more. First of all, I just told you why it's nonsense. It's not going to create more jobs. These are temporary jobs during the construction of pipelines, whether it's Dakota Access, whether it's the Sable pipeline, whether it's the Trans-Pecos pipeline, the Sunrise pipeline in Pennsylvania. These are not permanent jobs. That's number one. Number two, increase economic growth. This does not increase American economic growth. This increases foreign exports. That doesn't help you, the viewer. That doesn't help me, the reporter. That doesn't help middle-class people. That helps, you ready? You ready? Big oil companies. Kelsey Warren of Energy Transfer Partners. Sunoco Logistics. Phillips 66, ExxonMobil, all of the big oil companies that own our politicians. So Sean Spicer could say whatever the hell he wants. President Trump could say whatever the hell he wants. It's not backed up by facts. And there's been reporting on this. The company itself, Energy Transfer Partners, was quoted saying, we're more like the FedEx. We're just distributing the oil. We're just distributing it to all the different distribution centers. Those distribution centers will be sending it out to foreign markets. So when President Trump goes up there, when Sean Spicer goes up there and says, well, we need this for increase the jobs, increase economic growth, and tap into America's energy supply more, that's something that he's been very clear about. Well, it's tapping into the dirtiest of the dirty natural resources of America. Reminder: this comes from the Bakken oil fields, which is some of the Josh Fox documentary filmmaker has done terrific work on this, showing how disgusting this stuff is. So let me tell you more. He continued, "Quote: That's one of those ones where I think where the energy where the energy sector and our natural resources are an area where I think the president is very, very keen on making sure we maximize our use of natural resources to America's benefit. It's good for economic growth, it's good for jobs, and it's good for American energy." So he's repeating just everything I just told you. So here's the bottom line, folks. I don't like predictions. So I'm not going to say this is a definite 100%. He just told you he's approving Dakota Access Pipeline. This is not what that is. However, to me, this is the closest sign that he will reverse the Army Corps of Engineers, which called for an environmental impact study on the project, as well as denied the final permit under Lake Oahe and the Missouri River. And I think that Trump probably most likely will rescind Barack Obama's order, the Army Corps' order, and just say, fuck it, we'll make the environmental impact study 15 minutes, or Trump and his Army Corps, and if the Army Corps doesn't want to do it, he'll find new people to appoint at the Army Corps that will say and will drive home his point. He's going to say, well, technically an environmental study was already done. But as you know, if you've been following the Standing Rock issue, a full, comprehensive environmental impact study was never done. They did something called an environmental assessment, which is essentially Energy Transfer Partners, the parent company for this project, hiring an outside company to say, this won't hurt the environment. Yeah, well, I think Energy Transfer Partners hiring a company is a fundamental conflict of interest to fully and accurately, without bias, evaluate the impact to the environment. So, listen, I'm a reporter. I'm not an activist, so I'm not going to tell you what to do. However, I will tell you what else is going on. Recently, if you've been following my Facebook, the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe formally announced that they are making the water protectors at the main Osheti-Sakoan camp leave. I've heard two different dates. I'm going to try to confirm the correct date. I've heard that it's January 30th people have to leave, but I've also heard that it's first or second week of February. So basically, between the end of January and the beginning of February, Standing Rock Sioux Tribe is making people leave. I will get the exact date. You can follow my Twitter. You can follow my Facebook for that. I just haven't gotten confirmation which is the date. So they are asking water protectors to leave. There's no word that they're going to physically come in and kick people out. However, this is the strongest, wording that they've given, that water protectors, it's not a friendly request, they have to leave. And they are going to come into the camp once they leave and clean it up and, take out different materials and structures that are still there. The reason for this is Cannonball District. Standing Rock, for people never there, is actually in Cannonball, North Dakota. And the citizens of Cannonball, North Dakota, want the water protectors to leave. They are fed up with the main blocking of the bridge, backwater bridge on Highway 1806. Now, that is not the fault of the water protectors. The fact that bridge has been blocked now, I think for going on 4 to 5 months, that is the fault of the oil goons and the oil police who have blocked this bridge, putting people's lives at risk every day because emergency vehicles can't get through. But residents of this area have been complaining because this is the main highway that they get to and from work. And, its blockade has been a huge detriment and obstacle to their daily life. So the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, I can't speak for them. They have not given me a comment. But my understanding from reports out there is their decision to ask the water protectors to leave and, frankly, force the water protectors to leave is because of Cannonball. Because of Cannonball's complaints. Now, Like I said, this statement by Sean Spicer isn't officially they're closing. They are approving the Dakota Access Pipeline. However, I think it's a foreshadowing. I think it's a hint, and I think we need to take it seriously. So, again, I'm a journalist. You guys can be activists. It's up to you what you want to do. If you want to go start a march, start a protest outside the White House gates. If you want to start a march, start a protest in your communities. If you want to head back to Standing Rock, I'm not going to tell you what to do. However, take it seriously when you have a Republican press secretary speaking for the president saying he's made clear that he is for projects like the Dakota Access Pipeline and the Keystone Pipeline. Sean Spicer, he could have stopped at just saying, I'm not going to get in front of the president's executive actions. However, he went further to basically complement projects like the Dakota Access Pipeline and the Keystone Pipeline. So I think that the bottom line is I'm going to report you what he said and tell you what I think about it. I think this is a very direct hint. If you want to say foreshadowing, if you want to say threat, he is going to approve the pipeline or reverse the Army Corps' denial of the pipeline. And as we know, there's still a court case in process where Energy Transfer Partners filed an appeal against the Army Corps of Engineers' denial of the final permit. So that court case, at the earliest, is supposed to be held in February. So that's the news. I'm going to report more on it as I get more information. I kindly ask, I didn't want to do a whole video on this because I don't really like to complain, but I'm getting way too many messages from people. So everybody calm down. If you want to message a story or something you know, send it to TYT Politics on Facebook. Don't send it directly to me. I don't say that arrogantly, but I can't do my job if I'm getting messages every 10 seconds. I know, it's meant in a good way, but, just go through TYT Politics, message TYT Politics instead of me directly. But I will stay on this story and if need be, go back to Standing Rock. So thank you for watching. I'll be back on the Young Turks YouTube in a little bit to do another video on Cory Booker and the corporate Democrats. Thanks for watching.